What's up? What's up, y'all? What's going on? We back at it for another episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 28. On this one, Steve's gonna pop in, but I'm gonna quarterback this one from start to finish, and then I'm gonna open up the floor for Q&A towards the end. We're gonna keep this one strict at about an hour. So I ain't gonna hold y'all for too long, but it's a lot of information to pass on and break down, and you guys can sit with this. And then next week, throughout the week, we always, as usual, we always are in our Discord at home, going back and forth, spreading information, just sharing ideas and updates of what's going on. So we look forward to that because this week is going to be heavy. But this one, episode 28, is the global financial system update. Binance gets sued by the CFTC. The Kenyan president, President Ruto, warns of the US dollar dump and more. So it's heavy. So let's get to it. All right. So everybody who knows about BRICS, I want you to type a 1 in the chat. If you don't know what BRICS is, put a 2 in the chat. We talk about this all the time, but I know we got some new bodies, so I want to make sure everybody is up to speed. All right. So that's good. All right, appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback. So BRICS nations, BRICS originally stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, right? These are emerging nations that have good GDP. They are all involved in international trade. These are all countries we know of, right? But what they all have come together to do is to essentially move away from the United States interest. Right? They all want to move away from the US dollar. They're tired of sanctions. They're tired of tariffs. They're tired of blockades that occur when it's time to do trade. So essentially, because the US dollar is so dominant, it is the global reserve currency. It is the dollar and is the form of currency that everybody uses for everything. Long story short, these countries are tired of everything that the US is doing. It's South Africa, Jerry. So when it comes to BRICS nations, right? BRICS has now begun, and I'm saying now kind of loosely. It's already been happening for the past, I want to say 2 years now. But when it comes to BRICS, BRICS now is labeled BRICS Plus. So here is where a lot of the updates for the global financial system come into play, right? So as you guys can see, we have multiple banks, all plummet, all crash, right? The status of being illiquid, not having people's money, customers' deposits, the same money that you and I go in direct deposit and the same money that we deposit from, our businesses, whatever the case is, we go take this money into our banks. We entrust the banking system as it stands for the last 50, 100 years, to essentially have our money when we need it and have it on demand. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are familiar with fractional reserve banking, if you know what that is. If you don't know what it is, drop a 2. All right, so being that everybody here on the call presently is familiar with it, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but fractional reserve banking essentially means that we used to think that all the money that we deposit into our bank, it was there, readily available at our demand, right? So we can go to a teller and say, listen, I've got 7 million in the bank. I need 2 million, right? Worst case scenario, they'll tell you, we don't have that cash on hand. We have to order it. It has to be minted or whatever the case is. They'll print the money up. They'll have it for you, right? And then you'll come get your money. Nowadays, more recently, it's been instances where you'll go into the bank and you'll say, hey, listen, I need 35,000. The bank may only be able to produce 15,000. And then that's it. There's no excuse. There's nothing that they tell you that gives you a peace of mind, right? Fractional reserve banking simply means they don't have to have a one-to-one backing of what you've deposited, right? Customer funds do not have to physically be on hand. What's happening is we're depositing our money. The banks are taking our money and they're resourcing it out, right? They have other products and services that they offer to the other retail investors, right? Anybody else who's a customer of the bank, right? You ever wonder how people are able to get loans? Well, what they're doing is they're using your capital to fund these loans. They're gaining interest on your money as your money sits in the bank. Your money only gives you about, I won't even say 1%, 2%, right? Of your money annually sitting in a bank. So your money does nothing. It's truly not working for you, especially with inflation. As the interest rates continue to rise, what's happening is your savings is actually working against you. So you will never, ever be able to save your way into wealth, ever. So it doesn't matter what industry anybody is in. Saving your money is meant to be for a rainy day, right? But it's meant to always be in motion, to always be working. This is the game of money, right? This is why the banks have been long standing for this long. They've been here for this long and they've been in business for so long because of that reason. So saving money, truthfully, is dead. It's over for that. You only save money in order to invest, right? Of course, it's good to always have money on the sidelines for different things, but you always want to keep your money in motion, right? So I'm not here to preach to you guys. I want to tell this story correctly so you understand what's happening and where we're going, right? Especially with current events. So with fractional reserve banking, these guys are not obligated to have your money on hand, right? So now that we know this, what do you do with this information, right? Where do you go? So you're thinking to yourself, damn, I just deposited my paycheck. My paycheck goes into my bank account. I need it. Of course, we all need it in our bank accounts for some sort of reason, right? We know that the world hasn't fully transitioned into fully digital. We know that some of the bills that we have to have money in the bank because that's the form of currency that they're able to take. You're able to pay it right through your bank account, direct pay, whatever the case is, debit card, credit, whatever, right? But the additional cash that you guys have, they're showing you in real time that the dollar is dead. The dollar is backed by what? Drop it in the chat. The United States dollar is backed by what? Oh, I'm loving these answers. I'm loving these answers. So I'm gonna read some of these just so the people that's gonna watch this call, you guys get to see this. So here's some of the answers. Our faith in it, oil, debt, nothing, debt, nothing, guns, debt, debt, nothing, right? So the answer, nothing. It is literally paper and ink. It has lost 90% of its value since inception. Since we came off the gold standard in 1933, the US dollar is backed by nothing, right? The one thing that gave it its status was it being the global reserve currency, right? So people were able to transact and you had to purchase oil in dollars. Now, as you see, we have BRICS Nation and we have BRICS Plus. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to get right into this. The craziest thing is when we were saying that the dollar was dead, people was looking at us like, oh, these guys are insane. They don't know what they're talking about, right? And we were calling this for years. The writing has been on the walls. It was not like we had to have the crystal ball for this, right? We just told everybody ahead of time. We had the vision, and this is before Steve and I both knew one another. We both were on our own solo missions, and we were telling our people what was going on, what was happening, what we saw. We had the foresight, right? Because we had the knowledge. So the crazy thing about this is when you tell somebody that the dollar is dead and the dollar is the only thing that they know to spend, immediately people have cognitive dissonance. Immediately, they're going to be like, oh, I'm not hearing this. I don't care what you're talking about. You're crazy. You're insane. It's always going to be pushback. The reason being is because you're now jeopardizing what somebody knows and what they are so accustomed to. immediately they shut down. They don't even try to grasp it. So here's the crazy part. Let me share my screen with y'all. And do me a favor, drop a one in the chat if you guys can see this. Can you guys see my screen? I appreciate that. All right. So I was curious, right? And I just wanted to know, just so as I'm presenting this, I had certain information, readily available. So when did Saudi Arabia join BRICS, right? This information came out December 8th last year, 2022, right? This was during the BRICS summit. They always have the BRICS summit it's in the fourth quarter, it's at the end of the year, and they always talk about whatever is the new updates. So the theme for 2023 was all about expansion, right? Strategic partnerships with other nations that wanted to basically empower BRICS as a whole, as a collective, and they all wanted to move away from the United States' interests. Excuse me. They all just wanted to move away from the dollar. They were sick and tired of whatever the United States was doing that was infringing upon their way of doing business, right? The name of this game is all about profitability, making money. The more money you make, the more debt, the more assets, the more commodities you can all acquire, right? And everybody that has joined BRICS nations has substantially increased the amount of gold reserves that they have for each country, right? So not to skip around, but what is one thing that has intrinsic value that is almost like a store of value in the event that a currency collapses? Gold.
Gold.
Absolutely. So whenever you have countries who are buying excess tons of gold, right? These guys are spending billions on gold. They were preparing for something. We've been saying this for years now. The gold standard is coming back. They are right now, all of the nations that are in BRICS, they have all been purchasing gold in excess. And again, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That's BRICS, just BRICS. Now you have BRICS Plus. So as I'm looking into the expansion of BRICS and BRICS Plus, now you have Saudi Arabia, who came in and has been a powerhouse. Saudi Arabia is huge. In that Middle Eastern market, they're huge because what do they have a ton of? Gold. What do they have a ton of? Oil. What is the US dollar backed by? Nothing. But what was giving it some sort of value? The fact that you had to transact oil and you had to transact in dollars. That was it. For all countries, the United States had that stronghold on everybody. Look at this. Saudi Arabia enters a trade alliance with China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and 4 Central Asian nations, right? The crazy part about this is the president of Kenyan, I forget his name, President Ruto, right? He just came out in a video. There was a press conference that he held a couple days ago. He said that the US dollar demand will ease in the next couple of weeks. I was going to play the video for you guys, but it's a little distorted and his accent is really heavy. But listen, you guys can find that video on your own, right? He literally stood on that podium and told everybody, if you have excess of US dollars, I would suggest to get rid of them because the demand for the dollar is going to equate in losses in the upcoming weeks. What's happening in the United States right now? We are all illiquid. All of these banks are illiquid. Think about it. What banks were illiquid? They were crypto-friendly banks. What is going on in the United States right now? They are still not on the same page just in this country right now with what to do with inflation, with what to do with these interest rates. They are thinking about quantitative easing, which in itself is just insane because all you're doing is continuing to print more and more money and you devalue the currency even more. So I already told you that the US dollar is already down 90%. So if you continue to print and you think throwing more money on an open flame is going to help, you're sadly mistaken. So listen, when I say that the dollar is dead, I mean it. Here's the crazy part. So the reason he was able to stand in front of the podium and tell everybody that the US dollar value was going to collapse, you're looking at it. Kenyan strikes oil import deal with Saudi Arabia and UAE firms. UAE stands for United Arab Emirates. That's Dubai, right? That's on that side, right? So this deal is so huge because you know what they're going to be paying in? Yuan. Chinese yuan. No more dollar. They said, we're not paying attention to whatever you set in place anymore. We're not abiding by it. We're not going for it. Our countries want free and fair, open trade with whomever we want. And now we have a collective of other countries who are banding together to not care what the United States has to say. And they're just doing it anyway. And think about this. All of the countries, again, they have a ton of gold reserves. And Russia was one of the first countries to already do it. They already started their own payment system with China. And on top of that, they are already backing their currency with gold. So think about this. If all of these countries have been buying a ton of gold, Russia was really one of the first countries to really start this whole process. And Russia decided, listen, I don't have to do business with the United States. I can do business with everybody else whenever I want. We have the Nordic pipeline, right? So now they're able to funnel fuel from point A to point B and sidestep whatever sanctions the US had. They don't have to worry about tariffs, taxes. They don't have to worry about none of that stuff because they're circumventing completely the US. So now you have all of these countries dealing in gold and they're using China's yuan to be able to transact. Kenya is going to be paying in shillings. This is why it's so important about what he said. Normally, Kenya would be paying in US dollars. They said, we're not doing that no more. We're paying in shillings. The crazy part about it is for one US dollar was, I think, 142,000 Kenyan shillings. That is extremely high. That exchange rate is extremely high, right? And that's outside of the norm. So when it reached that breaking point, Kenya sidestepped and said, listen, we're not doing it no more. So what I need you guys to understand is I've given you facts and data. Big picture, what happens with the US? So if we already have a system that's collapsing because we're illiquid, we don't have the money available, right? We don't even have the money that we put into our own bank accounts. This is just domestically, right? This was already going on outside of the United States. But now here inside of the United States, when we do not have money to be able to transact with or to have customers' deposits readily available, what do you think is going to happen? So here's how I see it. You're going to have continued bank runs. You're going to have more situations where, baby, can you bring me water, please? So what is really going to happen is there's going to be more bank runs. When you have more continued bank runs, that means there's less liquidity in the system. That means more people are going to start going to the banks, lining up, asking for their money. Not only asking, they're going to start demanding their money. They want their capital now. So the more people that begin to line up, you are literally creating a situation, so where, thank you so much, where it's going to be a contagion on top of what's already happening. This is a situation where now you have to be aware of every single fine detail that's going on. If you're watching this call or if you're in this room right now, you're blessed, because me and Steve, we go hard for y'all 24 hours a day, right? But on top of that, you all are masterminds and we're all here as a collective. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to monitor every single thing that's happening in this space, micro and macro, domestically and globally, and we're going to always bring it back, right? And as we bring it back, it's going to give us more insight on what's to come. So as I was looking through all of this stuff, right, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, boom. The United States has been buying more gold. The interest rates keep going up. I know the next thing that would happen would be a recession, right? Once you have high inflation, you get a recession. Once you get the recession, then you get hyperinflation, right? And then you get stagflation. There's a couple different things that it's a couple layers to this onion. So I'm thinking to myself, they still have Jerome Powell, they still have these guys setting goals that they want 1%. So if they want 1% to be the target, that means 2 million people are going to be jobless, right? Whenever we have an economy that's set up like this, it turns out to be like 2008. It ends up like literally a depression. So I'm saying to myself, 2 million people, put that in perspective, 2 million people jobless. What happens when you lose your job? Immediately, you're going to file for unemployment. But you're also going to try to find another job, right? But with the economy like this, now you have unemployment rising. Josel, you spot on. Spence, you spot on. We definitely in stagflation right now. So as you starting to see, people start to move and shake. They do not have jobs no more. They do not have security. So now there's more fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's FUD. The more FUD that you have in a market, the more it bleeds. People are fearful. People are scared. Now they don't want to put their money into markets because they don't know what's next. They don't have the security. They don't have the peace of mind that comes with, listen, the market is booming. Everything looks good. Let me put my money in here, right? It goes out the window. So now this is when it's really a dog eat dog situation, right? The market continues to plummet. People are pulling their money out of crypto. People are cashing out of crypto. People are cashing out of banks. This is a huge bank run. It's literally a snowball effect. You could push a pebble off a mountaintop. By the time it gets to the bottom, that same little pebble is a boulder. That's what's happening right now. We told you guys this over and over and over. We told you guys this is literally a movie, but all of this has been planned. Right now, as you see all of these different updates and advancements that's going on with BRICS nations, BRICS Plus, these other countries are all segueing away from U.S. interests. They all want to be a part of a collective that's able to kind of do what they want to do. They just are tired of the dominance that the United States has, right? And the position that the dollar in was incredible. The fact that this long they were able to do this is impressive. So I actually applaud the US for everything it's done. But I also see why these other nations have chosen to be in the pivot, right? So now as all of these countries begin to band together and sidestep, now all of their economies are now growing. I'm gonna show you guys something. And Hot Rod, I got you, man. I know you on the call. You asked me about it earlier. I got you, man. I'm gonna touch on Evergrande. I'm gonna do that for you. So I just put out this tweet less than 24 hours ago. So Saudi Arabia partnered with China to build an oil refinery. It was equivalent to 83.7 billion won, or 12 billion US dollars, right? So just a few months ago, everything seemed like it was just cool. Like nothing was going on. We knew that the money was getting tighter, loans was beginning to dwindle down. Of course, little things like that we noticed, right? Because we kept seeing inflation rise. They kept talking about, we're fine, the economy's doing good, we're still booming. You know, anytime that the news tells you something, 9 times out of 10, it's the opposite. So when they were telling you guys everything was smooth, it wasn't, right? And you guys could see that, right? But in the grand scheme of things, you just would think to yourself, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. We still going to buy cars, we still getting fresh, we still, we going out to eat, we still spending $200, $300 steak dinners, whatever it is, right? The economy, the world still moves. The reason being is a lot of people aren't aware. And as people aren't aware, it's always the people who are last to know who are affected the worst, right? Because they don't know what to do with the information. They didn't care when the information was being presented to them. And now when it affects them directly, they don't know what to do because they're in a panic. So now you're pressed for time and you're pressed to react, right? It's a natural response. BRICS now, just because of this move, right? And everybody building a synergy, 31.5% of the global GDP. That's more than the G7. I need y'all to understand how powerful that is. The G7 and the G20, these guys are responsible for damn near everything that moves in the world, right? These countries control damn near everything when it comes to finances, right? These are the strongest nations that they all banded together, and they have a summit annually where they discuss what's going to happen with the money and everything, right? But just BRICS now, right now, 31.5% of the global gross domestic product. And they have more growth that's projected. That's the insane part. So now you have to understand, because you have money, it means nothing. What are you going to do to protect it? What are you now going to do with this information that Champ has given you today, March 29th? What are you going to do? Why are you guys here? This is Dot Connect. What do? We build. We build monsters. Everybody on this call, monsters. You here for the right reason. You know what you're doing. Look at the graphic behind me. What is this? This is crypto. This is blockchain. We're going to show you guys how you're going to position yourselves with this information. So first things first, what is a hedge against inflation? Commodities, right? What is the safest commodity that you could possibly purchase right now out of gold and silver? It would be gold, of course. Good answer, Brian. Spence, talk to him. Talk to him, baby. Listen, what else would you buy besides gold, right? When it came to commodities, you got gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, diamonds, right? But the easiest thing for you to transact in, right? The easiest thing that's the most portable and convertible is going to be silver, right? You would purchase silver. This is something you guys should have. We gave you this play a couple calls ago, right? We told you guys one of the sites that I go to is JM Bullion. It's just one of my personal favorites. I used to buy gold. I used to buy silver. They look like literally like a debit card, and it's 999.9 fine silver, right? And it's 20. I want to say right now maybe $21. I think there's still $21 right now. I got you, T. jmbullion.com. So that's one spot where you can go and you can purchase gold and silver, right? In small denominations, of course. And this is just something for you to have. So today I was actually driving, and this is why I'm even bringing this up. Tanisha, salute. You know, I got you. So here's one of the things. I'm driving with my wife, right? So tomorrow is my son's birthday. He turns 13. So we're out going to get a couple things, running some errands, and on the side of the road, there's a lady, and she has a back turned to us. Right, we're getting ready to get on the highway. So we're at the light, and I'm in my phone, and I'm literally getting ready to send everybody in the Discord a message about tonight. I look over, and a lady she moves, and when she moves, it kind of looked like she was running towards me. So I catch out the side of my eye. She turns around. She's holding a sign. So the sign that she's holding is, "I will buy your gold and silver." You know what's crazy about that? In my mind, I instantly thought that it was going to be a lady that was just panhandling. This lady was literally out there, pocket full of cash, by herself, firearm showing, and she has a brown sign in her hand, written in marker, "I will buy your gold, I will buy your silver." People was honking. I'm seeing wild people passing her honking, you know what I mean, pointing at her, just giving her love because people are seeing it. This is the brilliant part. If you have people that have the same vision and they're acting upon it, and you can see that they're acting upon it, you know something is coming. When the masses begin to awaken and see things clear as day, when social media is allowing people to be able to see things before the news reports it, before financial regulatory bodies actually come out and say, "Listen, the dollar is dwindling. Listen, you guys need to find out ways to protect your assets." They never will tell you that because the system isn't designed for that. Right now, we're in a debt-based system. Every time you sign your name on something, they're allowed to print more money. So when they continue to print more money, what happens? The system continues to work as it's always worked. It keeps you working, trying to pay off something. It keeps enriching the people who are basically giving you loans of your own money, and you have no answer. You're just going using the same tactic that you always use. It's over for that. The system is changing. It is already happening, and you're seeing it now. Countries want out of the normal system. And all my one percenters, you guys already know what's going on. You guys know right now, we already are in a situation where there's a new system that's in place. It's going to be asset-based. It's going to be determined by what assets do you own? Do you own land? Do you own real estate? What do you own, right? You have to have certain things in your war chest that protect you and don't have you out here using CBDCs where you're basically controlled. You've got a time limit on how much that you can have, when you spend it, right? And it's an expiration date on it, so you have to just rush and spend it. At the Blueprint Summit, we were literally just talking about this. Steve came out. Of course, you know Steve is my guy, man. He goes shoot from the hip. He don't matter what room he in, and I'm always going to back him, right? Because what he's saying is so insightful. It could be jarring and almost scary, but he's going to give it to you 100% raw. Steve said, trucking, dead. Turo, dead. Credit, dead. The whole room was in an uproar. What? Oh my gosh, I just got here. Like, whoa. Listen, I'm seeing this with my own eyes. I'm watching from the stage. Spence was there. Spence could unmute and tell you guys the exact same thing. The room literally was in an uproar, like, what? And then you can hear the chatter back and forth. Oh shit, like, bro, what the fuck? What's going on? Everybody's getting nervous because they wasn't privy to the information that we have. And in the 30-minute segment, we couldn't give them we couldn't give them the complete raw. We just gave them us, and we told them, listen, y'all need to be part of the university because, listen, we have the answers. We've known for years. We know what's about to happen. So as this transition is beginning to occur, you guys got to know what to do, right? Protect your assets. Cold storage wallets. Anybody on this call? So Steve had an idea today. I don't know if he's gonna pop on. He's taking care of something right now, but he was talking about doing a XRP giveaway today, right? So I want to know, everybody on here, there's 28 people on this call, including myself. I need everybody to respond in the chat. If you have a ledger, put a 1. Or let me take that back. If you have a cold storage wallet, period, put a 1. If you do not have a cold storage wallet, put a 2. And listen, there's nothing wrong if you do not have a cold storage wallet, but you just need to get one. But I want everybody to answer because I really want to gauge the room. I really want to know everybody that's on the call. I know we got new faces, new names. I just need to know. Tanisha, I see. So, and not to single you out, not too much crypto, just a little XRP. Do you have a cold storage wallet, period? Okay. Nano Ledger X. Cool. Becky, you put a number 2. All right, cool. So you and Joselle that I picked out of the people that I did see so far, y'all two don't have ledgers. So by the next call, what I want you guys to do is I want you to either purchase a ledger or I want you to purchase any cold storage wallet that we've recommended, right? You do your due diligence. If you got any questions, come to the Discord. If you don't know how to reach us in the Discord, I'm going to drop the link for you. Give me 1 second. I need to make sure everybody is on point. We're not doing people walking around with crypto, life-changing information, and they don't have a cold storage. So I'm dropping the links to everything. Spence, what you say? Oh, nah, that's a fact. We definitely, what's crazy is they threw us off because the people before us, they went over into our time. So we wasn't able to really, get busy and do what we were supposed to do. And then they didn't give us our slides. So we kind of had to improvise and we had to shoot. So they wrapped us up. They gave us the boot. They kicked us off stage. They was like, listen, we love y'all, but there's more people coming after you. So Becky said, all I have is Bitcoin and a few others in Coinbase. All right. So listen. So can everybody see the links? I don't need everybody to answer, but somebody just write yes. All right, cool, B. Appreciate it. So all of these links that I just provided, Becky, this is the links that you need. This is going to take you to all of our socials, all of our product offerings. If you want to get into the VIP group, the Futures Trading Book, the boot camp, whatever it is that you need, right? This is the links to everything. I want you guys to have this. Most importantly, I want you guys to get into the Discord. If anybody is on this call and you're not in our Discord, I want you to click that link at the bottom, get into the Discord. It's free, right? That's going to bring you to the main channel. You're going to have access to a few channels. And then once you get into like the VIP or the 1% group, then you have a more expansive list of channels that you're able to access, right? But just for this call, for all intents and purposes, make sure you're in the Discord. I need you guys in the group. You have to, that's our home, right? That's how you're going to be able to be around everybody else. Your crypto, period, it needs to come off these exchanges. Every single exchange right now is literally, there's an issue with it, right? I need you guys to understand this. The problem with these exchanges right now at this moment is they're all illiquid, right? And I'm not going to say all, right? So I use that term a little loosely. The majority of these exchanges are illiquid. They do not have the money available to be able to give you your bread whenever you want, right? I need you to understand that it is risky for you to have whatever you've invested in on an exchange, because if the exchange shuts down, if the exchange gets hacked, if the exchange gets sued by the SEC, which multiple exchanges is happening right now, it is literally going to take away the assets that you have on there. You will not have access to them. That is not how we do crypto at Sky and Crypto University. Right? Not your keys, not your cheese. That's my favorite line. I always say that. There is a process. For anybody who doesn't know how to do certain things, I promise you, if you don't know something, that means either you don't have the self-guided boot camp or you just need a little bit of assistance, right? So what do? You go to the Discord and you ask. You bring it back to the community. Say, yo, I tried to do XYZ. I had trouble. Can somebody help me out? Me and Steve are also always going to adhere to these messages. We always see them. We get the notifications in real time. Sometimes we just purposely do not answer right away because we want to see what the community is going to tell you guys. And then we'll step in. If somebody tells you something and we have a better way, we won't negate what they're saying, but there's multiple ways to do certain processes. But I just need you guys you have to be able to learn this stuff and execute. And we've got YouTube videos that explain all of these things in, step-by-step detail. So there's a lot of resources that you guys have access to, and it's also learning videos inside the Discord. So you guys have all access to this stuff, right? So with that being said, get your crypto off these exchanges immediately. The next thing, I'm very new. I bought the books and the boot camp. It helped me so much. I love to hear that, because that right there, that's the information. That boot camp, something serious. 12 plus hours of information. I think somebody mic is on. I need y'all to mute yourselves.
You know how many niggas buying crypto and not taking that shit off, just leaving it on there?
Hold on, who that? I don't know who that is, but we're gonna mute you. But that's a fact. Whoever said that was a super fact.
My fault, Shane. My fault, bro.
No, you good. Nah, but listen, I want y'all to understand that right now is the most pivotal moment in time. And you guys are here, you're rocking with us, you're in the right place. The craziest thing you could do right now is to learn crypto, invest in crypto, and then lose all your crypto because you left it on an exchange. You didn't do the final step, which is protecting your assets. You guys have to. It's not a question, because there's going to be more exchanges that are secretly insolvent. You're going to start seeing. There are more banks right now outside of SVB, Silvergate. It's happening right now. There's 186 more banks right now that are susceptible to bank runs and crashes, right? And we're not even done. This what the crazy part is, I'm gonna have to kind of speed through some of these other joints, but I'm trying to tell you, listen, Josel, I promise you, on my Twitter page, I could pull up tweets from probably 2019, 2018. I was talking about blackouts. Y'all think Bitcoin is safe? Y'all think Ethereum is safe? Proof of work, proof of stake? Neither one of them work. Right? Bitcoin is going to become an altcoin. There are other coins and distributed ledgers that are literally implemented and interwoven into this whole global financial system that's about to emerge. It's literally unraveling in front of your face. If you take a step back and pay attention, you'll see it clear as day, right? And we already told you, well, I'm not even going to go into that yet. I'm not even going to go into that. I don't want to speed too crazy. So look, here's something I want to show you guys. So this is from Gibson and Dunn. This is a law firm, right? And you guys can look this up on your own. The dopest thing about this thing that I'm showing you right now, let me move this out the way. My bad, y'all. I got these damn controls floating and they're all in the way of my screen. Listen, I've always said this since jump, right? Bitcoin was a psyop. Bitcoin was to get people interested in using cryptocurrency. And when you think of crypto, the first thing that comes to mind normally is Bitcoin. So when you associate, somebody says Bitcoin, they're not always just talking about BTC. right? They're not talking about that coin. Sometimes they reference Bitcoin as the entire cryptocurrency space, right? Because they are uninformed. They may not know that there's 2,700 assets right now. They don't know that there's a ton of different crypto projects, right? They don't have a clue, right? So when people say, Bitcoin is this, da 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 da, they don't understand. There's people out here that's been putting in work even before us. We've been in since 2015, but there's people that's been here since 2009 when Bitcoin first emerged. They heard about it literally in its infancy stages, and people were buying hundreds and thousands of Bitcoins. They were doing this for years. And when the price kept shooting up, they are done. I say all that to say this. Understand that right now we have Gary Gensler, who is the worst. Gary Gensler, for you guys who do not know, he is the head of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Under his guise, he wants the world to believe that everything is a security. When you have somebody that's in a position of enforcement that is telling you everything is a security, it kind of does something to your mindset, right? Your psyche. When you continuously have somebody telling you everything is a security, everything is a security, you start to almost believe it. You become programmed, right? And then you begin to just accept those words without doing due diligence, right? You don't really dig and find out, why does he say this? Why does he feel like this? What is a security? What is a commodity? What is considered an asset, right? Why does he keep saying that? Because he wants the world to believe that if everything is a security, everything is under his thumb, right? That means he would have the final say so, right? Because he is the head of the SEC. So their job, their number one job is to protect the retail investor. Who is that? You and I. Do you feel protected with everything that's been going on? This guy has had meetings with FTX, Sam Bankman, and a whole bunch of other guys. Before things were happening, Alameda, Binance, this guy has never done an enforcement action that was to the benefit of the people ever since he's been in office. I researched. I watched. Not one. So I started digging. I said, I know certain coins are not securities. And I always wanted the CFTC, right? The Commodities Futures Trading Commission, which is another regulatory body. I always wanted them to have the green light to be able to basically rule the crypto space, right? Now, we know 99% of cryptos are going to die. We know that already. But here's something I found. So as I'm doing my research, I see this. I say, hold on, what is stable coins right now? It's an attack on them, right? It's a big attack on stable coins. So I'm like, all right, cool. They went after Duquan. They went to Terra Luna, UST, right? All of these things started to crash. Then fast forward, now you had other stable coins just a couple days ago that was getting involved, right? You had the Paxos, you had Binance stable coin that was under scrutiny, right? And something just said, go to the top two, Tether, USDC. We know USDC is probably going to be the government regulated stable coin, right? We know this. The reason we know this is because these guys have been 100% fully transparent. Their reserves have been back 1-to-1. And even in the debacle with this whole Silicon Valley Bank situation where they had a ton of reserves over there, I think it was 10 trillion or whatever the case was. 10 billion. These guys had a lot of money in reserves, but in grand scheme, this was just a fraction of the amount of money that they had in reserves that was over there. So I get to digging, right? And something in the back of my mind was like, who is going to regulate USDC and Tether. I've been saying Tether is going to crash and is going to create the Black Swan event for forever. Just the other day, the CFTC comes out and they finally put their foot down. They finally put their foot down. They say many coins are not securities. This has already been proven by law. And also, since it's been proven by law, we are going to do our job now and put our foots forward. And we're going to start basically having a definitive impression on the crypto space. At that moment, I was full of joy because I remembered this. October 20th, this came out. The US CFTC says that Tether is a commodity. I say to myself, perfect timing. Perfect timing. And I'm super excited because, listen, we've been saying the Black Swan event is all about stable coins. It starts there, right? What is the stable coin that props up Bitcoin? Tether. Who is the one regulatory body who is really poised to regulate crypto assets before Gary Gensler came in and just tried to, just take over everything and started to have an overreach of what their real true task was supposed to be? The CFTC. Now I .connect. Holy shit. CFTC steps up. They deem Tether a commodity. This was in the past and it's proven by law, right? So this was released October 15th of 2021, right? They issued an enforcement action against Tether because they said Tether lied and they made mistrue and unleading statements about having a one-to-one backing with the US dollar, right? So they asserted that Tether was a commodity under the Commodity Exchange Act. So throughout the years, if anybody knows, Tether has never, ever been transparent, ever. It's almost damn near impossible to know exactly what their backing is, right? So I dug some more. Now, this isn't the most recent, but this is for you, Overlord. I got you. I'm doing this one for you. So he asked me earlier today in the Discord, he said, yo, please touch on this situation. It's important because we always mention China, Evergrande, and Tether, right? So let me pull this up. I want to make sure I'm super on point as I break this down for y'all. And XRP is an asset. XRP is definitely a commodity. This whole SEC case was nonsense. This was literally to tie up. I mean, we said this a million times. This was literally to tie up XRP, the biggest gorilla in the room, tie it down for as long as you can. And then now everything else you're going to have to regulate because it's going to be the one coin that's going to have regulatory clarity. Ripple said they are not settling at all unless they have regulatory clarity. They want to know definitively, yes or no. Is it a security? Is it a commodity? It doesn't matter whether it's a security or a commodity. It's a win-win. I keep saying this a million times over. It does not matter, right? But this is bigger than just XRP because this is really about the industry as a whole, cryptocurrency as a whole. This is not just about one asset, right? It's my favorite asset. I'm biased, but I still scrutinize it more than anything else. I try my best to find flaws in XRP and in Ripple and in distributed ledger technology, and you can't. You can't. And I'm not, listen, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to purchase it. I'm just telling you what I know. I know there's no flaw that I can see. And I scrutinize this thing top to bottom since 2015. Very first asset I purchased. Very first coin I invested in. So trust me when I say this, I mean this to the core. It's even deeper than that. Because what's going to happen is this is the game that they're playing. If they knew already what was going on with Ripple and XRP as a whole, they knew that the only thing that they could do, and everybody in the 1%, you guys already got the story, right? It's called ETHgate. The only reason the top 3 coins were Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And 2 and 3 were interchangeable. 2 and 3 were interchangeable because it was between XRP and ETH, right? Because of the market cap, they kept swapping, right? For a moment, XRP was 3 and it moved to number 2. The reason that XRP got tied up in litigation is just because of the corruption and the nonsense and the ties that were going on with the regulatory bodies, the people at the SEC. And I'm not going to go into that, but anybody who's in the 1% group, the story is told, and I told it in detail. Dates, screenshots, emails, I had it all, right? Listen, they are going to tie up XRP for as long as they possibly can. When they can't tie it up anymore, they know the case is literally unraveling right now. It's not a coincidence that right now, at this very moment, there's a new financial system that's emerging, right? The old one has to die. It's already started in the Eurozone. Target 2 in the Euro. It's already happened. It's already live. The systems have to run parallel for the next 2 years. 2025, everybody has to be compliant, right? I'm not going into details. Just understand that there's a whole new system that's in place. Everything is digital. Everything is going digital. The reason they tie XRP up is because they know it's the one. But everything else is not going to have a designation of whether it's a security or a commodity. So what happens? Now you have the CFTC and the SEC. They're either going to have to work together or they're going to have to form some sort of synergy, or one is going to have to overshadow the other, and they're going to have to make decisions on what happens to the rest of the crypto projects. All the while, you still have the Black Swan event that's going to be looming. The Black Swan event is one of the main things is Tether. Tether props up Bitcoin. Anytime Bitcoin rises in price, Tether has been minted. It has been printed, and it's been created out of thin air, the same way the Federal Reserve prints money. Same exact way. So the marriage between Tether and Bitcoin is insane, but I want you guys to understand this. Anytime Bitcoin rises, you can literally look on the blockchain. You can go on chain and see there has been a minting of Tether. When Tether prints, it goes and immediately gives out loans, and those loans are in Tether. They then buy Bitcoin. Show y'all something. Show y'all something, man. Y'all got me in my bag right now. So I know we got newbies that's on the call, right? So understand this. So Tether is a stable coin. Tether is just like USDC. It's supposed to have a 1-to-1 backing with the US dollar, and they want you to feel as if it's safe, right? Like it's actually a digital dollar. That's not the case, right? Tether held a sufficient fiat reserve in its account backing USDT, right? And they said that it was equivalent to the US dollar, which was $1, for only 27.6% of the days in a 26-month sample time between 2016 and 2018. I'm gonna say that one more time, just to make sure everybody's tracking. In 26 months sample time, Tether only held sufficient fiat reserves in its account to back USDT tethered tokens that were already in circulation 27.6% of the days in a 26-month sample time. We're talking from 2016 to 2018, they only had a 1-to-1 backing for 27.6% of the days. Tether has never, ever been transparent. They have never, ever told people truly what was in the reserves, right? They never did this. So I was digging and I found it was actually an old Twitter post, right? And at the time, this information was super, super correct, right? And I verified it at the time. Now, fast forward, we're in 2023. I believe that Twitter post came out in 21, if I'm not mistaken. I want to show y'all something. So this was the reserves report. So look at this. First thing you're going to see, and this is an asset breakdown. So when you're talking about reserves is just basically what's in the stash that will basically hold the value to this dollar, right? The United States has gold, they have debt, they have commercial papers, they have secured loans, bonds, other investment, precious metals, whatever you can think of, right? Real estate. There's a ton of things that are in the United States reserves. So as you look at this report, I want to show you guys something. This is just for Tether, right? Let me make sure I blow this up so you guys can see this. All right, so right here, where my cursor is at, it says cash and cash equivalents and other short-term deposits and commercial paper. So commercial paper and certificate of deposits.
Bro, why is niggas in my room, bro?
30 billion. Yo, mute up.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
So right now, 30 billion was the commercial paper. You know what commercial paper is? That's real estate. So as I'm thinking, yo, where's USDT based out of? China. Hong Kong. Like, all right, cool. Stablecoin. Been around for mad long. Everybody uses Tether when they're going in and out of Bitcoin and when they're onboarding, right? All right. Tether. Never transparent. Never tells you what their reserves is. All right. Bitcoin pumps. Look on chain. Tether's printing. Oh, hold on. Dot connect. Boom. The story unfolds. You see the marriage. Every time they print, Bitcoin goes up. Every time that you see Bitcoin drop, that means there was no printing going on. So during this time of 2016 and 2018, you could look at the chart and see what it was doing. But out of nowhere, Tether itself, their reserves and the amount of market value went up crazy. I'm going to show you a chart in a second. Look at this. It went from 10 billion to 70 billion. That was the market cap. This is the period from 2016 to 2018 where they lied and said, listen, they were one-to-one backed, but they truly weren't backed. So it got me to thinking, what was going on in this time to cause this to skyrocket like this? 70 billion? What happened? How was Tether's market cap that high? What happened? And this was during the liquidity crisis. So I'm like, yo, this don't really make sense to me. Then I started digging and I realized, whoa, commercial paper, real estate, China, Bitfinex, Evergrande. Oh, hold on. Evergrande. This same Evergrande right here, this Evergrande right here that's now below zero. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the performance on this joint. Look at this. And this is just in the last 5 days. It just looks like it fell right off a cliff. Look at the month. Zoop. What was happening? What's going on in China? What was happening? What have we been pointing out to y'all? It's the second largest property developer in China based on sales. They even got connections to the United States companies, and United States real estate. So it's tied to the United States stock market. What's going on over there? These fake cities they done built up, they get knocked down. China's a developer. But right here, China, they just told y'all they had They had 30.8 billion in commercial paper. That's where it came from. That's how they was able to make this move right here. So after they lied, the CFTC deemed that it was a commodity, right? So they can enforce on it, right? They had an investigation. They've been on Tether's neck, right? That's when we found out that they had an office, a banking office in the Cayman, or I think it was the Cayman Islands, and it was 5 employees, right? BitBoy just went to I guess they so-called office space, the bank, and it's literally like a shack. It's just like a front, but they're still in operation. What's happening right now? You just saw USDC depeg. You saw Tether depeg when Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank. When you started seeing these crypto-friendly banks become illiquid, you've seen the depeg happen. Everybody's nervous. Oh, snap. Tether's going down. USDC's going down. We told you this. It's an attack on stable coins. That attack that's going on with stable coins, they're going to continue to do this over and over and over until they come in and regulate the space. They only want a piece of the pie. They want you to be scared. They want the market to dip. These guys are going to keep swarming in, and they're using y'all for exit liquidity. So everybody who's buying crypto, and you buying at these peaks, every time it run up, you go to run. You chasing the green candle. You buy more crypto. Then what happens? No Tether printing. Shit drops. Soon as it drops, what do? You sell. What are you selling at? A loss. What are they buying at? A discount. And they acquiring more of your crypto assets, and you literally misguide yourself each time because your emotions are intact. You're not paying attention to the things that truly matter. If I never told you this, drop a 1 in the chat if you knew this information already. If you knew this Tether situation and you knew all of this, you knew about the relationship, drop 1 in the chat. If you didn't know about it, drop a 2. And I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back. I'm just telling you, listen, we coming with that smoke. We bringing this information to you on purpose because people don't know this. When you don't dig, you don't know. When you don't know, you're misinformed and you make bad choices every time. And it's not even your fault. It's just the nature of investing. It literally, it does something to your psyche because now you don't know what to do with yourself. So instantaneously, you like, yo, I'm gonna keep losing my bread. Man, I'm done with crypto. I'm finished with this. I can't do this no more. That's what they want you to do. Because when the black swan happens, now here's the real kicker, right? When the black swan happens, imagine this. You got Tether still in existence, right? They find out, again, that Tether doesn't have its reserves. It's not backed by nothing. It's being propped up. So at the press of a button, they can kill this whole shit. Tether props up Bitcoin. Bitcoin has the dominant spot, right? Right now, I'm gonna show y'all some. Hide the floating. So look at the market dominance right now. 46.4% of the market dominance is all in Bitcoin, right? So that means out of the market cap right now is 1.1 trillion that's in the market. That means 46% of that, almost 47% of that is inside Bitcoin, right? So right now, the correlation is essentially whatever happens to Bitcoin is going to happen to the rest of the market. So Tether prints, they get loans, and they funnel the money into Bitcoin. Bitcoin shoots up. What happens to the rest of the market? Look at where we at right now, 28,000. Just a couple days ago, we were sitting low. We was at 22,000. Let me see. So a month ago, 23, we was at 23,000, right? Now we at 28.4. That's a huge swing, right? So as you've seen Bitcoin go up, what happened with the rest of the coins? The rest of the coins went up. Why? because they're correlated. There's a correlation between Bitcoin because it has such market dominance. Everything else is kind of pegged to Bitcoin. So anytime Bitcoin goes up, the rest of the market rises with it. And this is a general statement. There are some coins that sometimes they don't move, they don't correlate, right? And that's still manipulation because you're still watching the chart and you're seeing it in real time. There's coins that should have super outpaced Bitcoin, right? They should have appreciated and blew smooth off the chart. But they're not ready yet. The system wasn't in place yet. It's all happening. But don't lose me, right? So as you see Bitcoin is doing all this, what happens? Bitcoin gets a run up, then Tether dies. What happens? Bitcoin crashes. What happens with the rest of the market? The rest of the market crashes. Once Bitcoin goes under a certain threshold, it's going to cause a cascade of liquidations, right? Because there's people who is betting on the long of Bitcoin. You got people like Michael Saylor. He just made another huge purchase of Bitcoins, right? And MicroStrategy, his company. They just bought a ton of Bitcoin a couple days ago, right? I think it was, I forgot how much it was. Don't make me lie to you. This is a couple million, value in dollars. So he brings all of this money into the market, right? The market is going up again. All right, cool. Again, what about Tether? People keep forgetting that is the bomb. That is the implosion. Yo, when Tether dies, the market is going to crash. Look at the logo. Look at the logo. It's a T with the ring around it, like an atomic bomb. They playing in your face, and people ain't paying attention. So when Tether dies, that's when the black swan happens. But listen, Tether and Evergrande had a relationship. It was the commercial paper, the 30 billion in commercial paper. So now that you see that Tether is a commodity and the CFTC is over it, what they're going to do is they're going to be poised to regulate Tether into the ground. It's either going to shift instantaneously to USDC or the whole market crashes with it. So what do you do in this instance? When your stable coin isn't stable, what do? You already have to have it in assets that are stable in nature, that have use case, that have utility, that solve real world problems. If you're not in the 1%, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Because we given this information and we laid them out for you. We not only did we tell you what the coins were, we tell you what they did, and we told you this is what we believe is going to make it through the crash, through the black swan. This is on purpose. This is all by design. So we're not just gonna give you the answers. It's either you gonna really buckle down, strap in the seatbelt, and you're gonna take this ride with us as a collective in that lifetime membership, or you could just do the research on your own. The information is there. You just have to find it. And then when you find it, you have to be able to validate the information. How do you do that when you're not in the group or you're not in the collective to be able to bounce these ideas and information off one another? And Overlord, yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. That's it. They take their assets, they print it. Once they print it, they take loans out in Bitcoin. It pumps Bitcoin's price. And every time you see it on the chain, you could see it on the chain. You could literally could see it. Every single time that they print, Bitcoin shoots up. Every time. Every time. And this is not a cap. I'm not selling nothing. I'm telling you, this is 100% fact. These guys have been showing you over and over. Don't forget, everybody in New York, right? Everybody that's in New York, don't forget. You guys remember Letitia James put out the situation against Bitcoin where they was basically telling them like, yo, you cannot transact Tether. You can't print no more. You can't operate in New York State. You can't operate in California. It's a couple other states that they can't operate, right? That was Letitia James. That was a couple years ago. And then I just showed you, the CFTC showed you that, yo, they deemed it already a commodity because they're like, yo, you playing games, we about to regulate you. We already told you can't operate in these certain states. And every single time that you guys keep printing, you're lying to the masses, which is no type of solace for retail investors. It's no security. You're just blindly printing, minting, right? And then now you're connected to Paxos. That's why now you just seen the situation where the New York Attorney General Letitia James, she's back at Paxos. Paxos had a relationship with Binance because they had a stable coin. It's an attack on stable coins. They're going to keep doing this over and over and over. It's nothing but smoke and mirrors right now. So all you need to do is you need to find the 1% projects. You need to invest in them, right? Whichever ones you believe in. You invest in them and you put them on these. You put them on wallets, cold storage wallets. You keep that shit off exchanges and you control it, right? You control your private keys the same way you control your social security number. Nobody should have it. Maybe a significant other. But that's why I got to keep stressing this point over and over because y'all don't understand. When they kick the legs off Tether, the shit is going to crash. That is the black swan. Look, listen, I was going to go crazy. I was going to go even crazier, but I want to break this down for y'all. So look, check this out. You guys can see my screen still? Hell yeah, they had issues in 2018, Spence. Can y'all see my screen still? Drop a one in the chat or a thumbs up. I bet. Good looking. So check this out. So the largest issuer of Chinese bonds, this is from 2021, right? I'm gonna break this down. You might not be able to see it, but y'all can hear my voice. And this is gonna be one of the last things I touch on. So 2021, they had issues, right? This was in July. It was July 29th, 2021, right? This was a Reddit chat. So I actually verified a bunch of this information and this was spot on, right? This is back in 21. So it's the largest issuer of Chinese bonds and they're about to go bankrupt. You see the price right here? For those of you who can't, it was $5.27. Look. Hello. We talking below zero. It was $5 and some change back then. We seen it. The insiders started dumping. The bonds itself lost 60% of the value. The Chinese banks stopped giving mortgages to customers buying Evergrande ghost apartments. So that was those ghost cities that we were talking about. Now, keep in mind that 30 billion, that 30.8 billion that was in commercial paper, that was to Evergrande from Tether. That was on Tether's reserves. That was what was allegedly propping up the value of Tether, keeping it pegged 1-to-1. Of cardboard cities, ghost cities where nobody was living. They just literally stood up apartments with putty and ceramic and just, it was nonsense. The type of shit they were using, the materials they were actually using, thin ass plywood, all kinds of nonsense, just to build it to give you the illusion that these cities actually existed. That was giving China's economy money. That was helping the Chinese party, right? So now think about this. It lost 80% of the share price back then in 2021. Now it lost over 100%. It's under zero right now, today. I just showed you the screenshot. So now Evergrande can no longer issue bonds and they flooded the market with short-term commercial paper, right? Instead, and that was just for them to stay afloat. So from 2021 all the way till now, that's exactly what they was doing this entire time. So Tether confirmed that they own Chinese commercial paper. I showed you guys the screenshot here. This is their reserves report, right? So as you guys are looking at what's happening with Evergrande, you now can see the clear picture of what's going on with Tether. So Tether kept lying because Tether's volume kept just shooting up over and over and over, right? So then you've seen the market cap go from 10 billion all the way up to 80 billion. How? It was only because of these fake ghost cities. That was the main thing. Now that Evergrande has gone under zero, this is why I'm so hyped, right? Now this is it. For everybody who stayed with me, I appreciate you. This is the reason why I'm super hyped. I'm not excited that the market is going to crash. I just need you guys to understand what's upon us. So now that everything is crashing, I'm telling you that you have Evergrande, who had real estate. You had United States entities on the United States stock market, companies that people invest in that are public right now have interest and have investments in Evergrande in China. So now that they're going bankrupt and they're going under, and it's being proven now more so than ever that this has all been an illusion. It's been propped up by cardboard, fake cities. Now you're starting to see the relationship. And you're like, whoa. So what does that mean? What's going to happen? Well, if you see what happened to the stock of Evergrande, think about the companies who were invested into Evergrande that's on the United States stock market that you and I invested into. We all realize that investment was a bust. The company who we invested in, who invested into Evergrande, they see serious losses. People sell off their stocks, massive sell-offs. What happens? Sell-offs, market declines, sell-offs, more fear, sell-offs, more people begin to sell off. Now it's multiple sell-offs all over the place. Mad panic, mad fear, the market dips. That's the stock market. Gone, out of here. Now what happens with crypto? The crypto-friendly banks that was already being propped up. Think about these banks. Who is funding? When you go get a loan to get a house, who gives you the money? Drop it in the chat. What type of institution gives you the money? Hello. So what happens to the banks? They illiquid. They was investing in fake cities for a gross domestic product to make it look like this money was backed by something. It was valued. They don't have no bread. And they showing you across the world. Now what's happening here? What happens when more banks continue to lose value and they don't have money and they can't give you your money? What happens? There's bank runs. When there's bank runs, people are liquid. When people are liquid, what happens? They go bankrupt. When they go bankrupt, what happens to your money? I'll wait. You cooked. It's bail-ins. They taking your bread. Fitz, you want the money, bro. Listen, they take your money that's already in there. Now you can't get your bread. And it's legal because they told you in the fine print when you signed up for the account that they could take 10% of your money right now. So if you had $1 million in an account right now and the bank is illiquid, they taking that 10% and it's legal. You now got 900,000. They took 100,000 from you. And it's legal. You signed up for it when you created the account. So now they say anybody under 250,000 is FDIC insured. False. They lying. How they going to insure all these people that got 250K? How? How they going to do that? They already showing you that they are liquid. What they going to do? Quantitative easing. They going to keep printing more money. When they keep printing more money, what's it going to do? It's going to devalue the currency. They going to keep printing. Jerome Powell is Mr. Burr. And Biden talking about, yeah, the crisis is over. It's been averted. Everything is good to go. We still got the war going on with Ukraine and Russia. They using crypto to fund one side of the war. They using crypto to bypass sanctions on that side. So I'm telling you, the only thing that you could possibly do right now is have the money in your bank to pay your normal bills, right? Scale back. This ain't the time to get fly. This ain't the time for new chains, new kicks, new Louboutins, new purses, new whatever, right? But I'm not telling you not to spend bread. You can do whatever you please, right? I'm just telling you what's happening right now. This just ain't the time, right? So if you can scale it back some, scale it back some. What do you do with it? You buy assets that are easily convertible, that can sustain. You buy property. You buy gold, silver, right? You have crypto. That's, of course, that's why we're here. So when you buying crypto, what assets would you buy? Things that got real world utility, that have real world use case. right, that are stable in nature. So when you're doing these certain things, you're able to have a diversified portfolio that will get you through the storm. Because once the storm is over and the market tanks, what is it that the rich do, that the wealthy do? They capitalize. They never let a crisis go to waste. So what do? Instantaneously, you buy assets. So that's why I told you in the beginning of the call, you don't save to just save. You save to have your war chest built up on the side because you're saving to invest. That's what they're doing. How you think Warren Buffett is making these moves? That dude hated crypto. That's all he did. Listen, that dude hated crypto. But that's what he led you to believe. And then what he do? He invests in a bank that's going to custody crypto, that's going to hold crypto assets. It's all a game, man. It's all smoke and mirrors that these guys give you. So don't be scared. Don't be worryful. Just understand what's at play. Understand what you need to do and execute. Because anybody who sits on their pockets, if you already got your assets, your crypto assets and all that good stuff, and you ready for when they flip that switch, you golden. It's nothing you need to do. Just watch the movie. Grab you a seat. Strap in, get you some popcorn. Sip your little wine, whatever. And just watch what's going on. Because all of this is a movie. It's just, we've been called this for years. We knew this was going to happen just like this. We told you all these celebrities was going to get cooked. What's happening right now? Celebrities getting cooked. Bank runs, they started overseas. I said, yo, look, this shit about to come to the States. What happened? Bank runs. Now you got 186 more banks that's still looking super weak, super fragile. And then you have this news with Evergrande, right? So that means now the stock market is going to come down. So you got NASDAQ that could dump. You got the TSLA. You got junk bonds market. Interest rates on the junk bonds is going to possibly go up. Because they're going to try to circumvent some of that debt. The companies are going to be unable to roll over debt. And it's just going to be a shit show. So you got to know, at the end of the day, you got to know what to do. You have to know what to do. And we didn't create these products for nothing. I'm telling you, you need them. Because everybody that's in the 1%, they got everything that they need. I drop heat in there all the time. Steve's dropping stuff in there all the time. We constantly feeding y'all. Anytime there's an update, you know what's going on with the project. And we gave y'all mad gems. We gave y'all stuff even outside of the 1%, right? Because we understand everybody don't have the entry fee for the 1%. I get it. But anybody who's dealing with credit and you guys have credit cards and all that type of stuff, you need the information. So do with that as you will, right? I'm not forcing nobody to do nothing. I'm just telling you, we created these things for this exact moment. There was a reason why we had to put out that 1%. Steve did not put his foot on my neck and say, yo, we got to go now. For no reason. It was on purpose. We knew this was coming. It's like, yo, it's here. So now everybody who got the info, you know what to do. You know how to protect them. You know where to put your assets. They all go right on these. You know what I mean? I know I got this background hard, so it's probably hard to see, but you need a cold storage. They cannot sit on these exchanges. They cannot. You will lose them because KuCoin is one of the exchanges that we use. They just did a lawsuit against SEC, did an investigation in a lawsuit in the KuCoin. Then Binance gets sued. So as Binance gets sued, they're like, yo, we needed to step in. This is the CFTC chief right here. They just stepped in because what they're looking at is they're like, yo, for years, we've been investigating Binance, right? So understand, this is my last point, and then we out of here. So CFTC, this is Rothstein Benham. He was talking about Binance, Coinbase, a couple other exchanges, right? But just to be specific about CZ, right? He said this was necessary because of fraud. I told you guys back in February that it was more than just the CFTC and the SEC that were looking into Binance, right? And they were going to possibly have to conclude their business in the United States. Well, what does that do? That's an attack on exchanges. When you attack the exchanges, you stop people from being able to actually get into crypto, right? It's the on-ramp. It's how you make a purchase. So if you already had the number one exchange, FTX, crash, where do you go? They're number two. What's the number two? Binance. So after you crush number two, where you gonna go? And this domino effect is gonna continue to happen. Boom, Coinbase. You got all these other places that people could go to, these exchanges, but a lot of these exchanges are insolvent. They're not going to be able to navigate, right? And I need y'all to understand, that's why you can't keep your coins on these exchanges, because the CFTC, the SEC, the IRS, all of them, they all on Binance's neck. Come to find out, the reason they're super invasive on their transaction history is because they found out that there was 10 billionaires that had billions invested in Binance, right? On Binance. So now as they're seeing these transactions, they're like, hold on, something going on. And there was massive withdrawals right before this happened, right before the instance happened. And they're like, yo, these exchanges are illiquid. Oh, we're about to buy Voyager. And all of these things was unfolding. They were starting to find out that, listen, these guys were funneling money through these exchanges. And keep in mind, China was banning crypto. So the workaround was people was investing through Hong Kong. So you can't stop crypto. That's the thing. You can't stop. You can shut down all these exchanges. People still going to transact. They still going to hedge. They still going to arbitrage. They're going to do everything that they need to do. And you really can't stop this train. So the thing is, they're trying to put their finger on it to where they can regulate it to a certain extent. They get their piece of the pie. And then that's that. Then it's ball game. Because shit, how I was looking right now, shit, we all going to be buying on NASDAQ. Yo, so yes, Josel, trading will survive in the markets, but it's going to be done differently. So they are going to arbitrage. There's money makers, there's we have venture capitalists, all that good stuff, right? And a lot of that stuff is DeFi, decentralized finance. So what's going to happen is DeFi is super innovative in comparison to regular tech, the traditional way we do stuff, right? They're going to use certain platforms. I truly don't know right now which platform they're going to use, but I know Flare Finance is going to be it. So I'll discuss that. Alfonso, stocks are not going to be around. Stocks are going to be tokenized. Right now, everything is going to be tokenized. So when you're talking about Coreum, C-O-R-E-O-M, Coreum is going to tokenize stocks. You guys can look that up. I'll type it in the chat. So Coreum is going to tokenize stocks, right? But the stock market, I already told you, the stock market is going to crash too. Everything is going to be tokenized. Everything, right? Your IDs, your passports, your deeds to your houses, the titles to your vehicles, everything is going to be tokenized. I've been talking about tokenization since 2020, right? Before it was even emerging. I knew it. I seen it. Tokenization is going to be key. But think about it. If you have a digital economy and they tokenize the deed to your home, right? Think about what's going to happen to the real estate market. The real estate agents are not going to have to go through, they're not going to have to go through a million pieces of paperwork, right? Everything can be done on a blockchain, sign. Everybody can view it. We talk about closings in a matter of minutes, as opposed to now it's taking 30 days to close, 60 days to close, you know what I mean, on a property. Just think about this. All of these industries are being disrupted. This is why we here, yo. This is why we here. If you already, if you already invested, oh, that's dope. I didn't know that. A property just sold on Solana today. That's dope. I love Solana, but the platform itself, the blockchain itself, super trash. That shit just keeps crashing. Like, they got to fix that. They definitely got to fix that. That's a design flaw. You know what I mean? That is really, really bad. They've been down, shit, I think more than 10 times. And that was last year, I think it was 9 times I counted in a small shot group. So I know this is, from my knowledge, this is number 10. So it's a lot going on. But Alfonso, should we still invest in stocks? Apple, Google, So, I mean, think about this. So a lot of those stock companies, those top tiers, the Googles, Steve has an acronym for them, but it's the Googles, the Microsofts, the Apples, the big dogs, the Amazons, right? Instead of investing in the stocks, I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't do, right? You can still invest in these things, but you just have to be aware of what's going on, because something as small as, not even as small, but something like a situation like the Evergrande situation can tank the entire real estate market. I mean, the entire stock market, because you're going to have so much fear. Like, hold on, when these people start to see the connections of what's going on, they're like, yo, this is all inflated. It's all a bubble. I'm out of here. And then when one person says they out, the next person says they out. Think about it. You watch these TV shows, when you see one hedge or one trader, they like, yo, I pull your stocks. We selling everything. That one person, that one entity causes a domino effect with other venture capitalists. Everybody start pulling their bread. Oh, they know something we don't know. And then the news starts to come out. Everybody out. The market's tanking. And you can go in there if you want to, right? You can get a good entry, but who's to say it's ever going to prop back up? You don't know that, right? You don't know. These guys are going to manipulate everything. But in my eyes, I know that stocks are outdated. It's an antiquated space, right? It's super lucrative, right? But why would you invest in stocks when you know they're going to be tokenized and you're already here in crypto? You can invest in both, right? But long term, you need to look at it. If the space is already going digital, how can I align myself with the digital aspect of this? What should I invest in, right? And then you start realizing, oh shit, these guys got partnerships with certain blockchains or certain coins to do certain things. And it's the data that puts you in a position to really start investing in things. You got to learn it. Somebody got their hand up. Who was that? Edgerton, talk to me.
What's going on? It was just about
That's
Solana.
Eddie.
You already, yeah, it's Eddie. Yeah, nah. I was just talking about like how you were saying like Solana sucked because it was not too long ago like they had a store that they had open. I could tell that they suck because they had a store that was open up in Hudson Yards in the city, and they ended up closing the store. And I spoke to some of the managers that was working, and it was just like, yeah, like the company itself, it was like failing in a sense. And I was just getting a lot of insight of what's going on in that market. And like it's crazy because like this market is really saturated, but if it wasn't for you guys to lead us to the right way, because it's like you could bring a horse to drink water, but it's up for the horse to drink water. So that's how deep it gets with just how y'all teach us about cryptocurrency. And it's like I see it shaking already. I'm in New York. It's shaking right in front of me like every single day. Like this new shift, I already know it's here already. They already these NYPD got Mustang electric cars. I see where we at already with this. I already see where we at with this. So it's like we have to put ourselves in position. I always want to say I appreciate y'all. Even the time that I can't get in here, I still tap in because it's like this is vital. People don't understand. Like we got families that don't even understand this, and it's just like I just gotta always give y'all flowers because like don't wait. Like, and it's the thing, people always wait till the last minute to give people flowers. No, appreciate these kings while they here because we gotta understand we don't have activists in Black communities. We don't have people talking about this. Literally, I had to really see this from a whole like I'm tech savvy. So to see this from a whole different perspective, I try to tell my family every day. I have 3 ledgers. Thanks to you guys. I ended up going to Solana. They gave me a free ledger, and I'm just highly blessed
That's
from the
dope.
most. I'm highly blessed. I'm keeping that though. I'm keeping it as a souvenir because I feel like it could be worth something in the future because it has the emblem that says Solana on top of the ledger. So I feel like I'm not gonna touch that ledger, but in a sense, I just gotta always say, champ. Steve is not here, but just tell him I appreciate y'all. This is from like my heart, man. Like y'all don't understand what y'all doing for like y'all don't, man, because shit about it's about to be crazy. Like people don't understand that. Like, yo, y'all don't understand this. Like it's about to be a shift that people are not ready for at all. At all. Like I sit here to talk to people every day. Like, are you holding into any kind of cryptocurrency? Like every day I feel to myself like, oh, I need to take out some of my money out of my ledger, but hell no. I'd rather go broke and leave my money on my ledger in any given kind of concept right now.
Fact, though.
Literally, man. But I appreciate you. That's all I really got to say, man.
Yo, big love, Eddie. We definitely appreciate that. Yo, when you get a second, if you want to share, it's up to you. If you want to share, drop a picture of that in the Discord. I definitely want to see that. That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, definitely. I got you.
All right. Tanisha, talk to me.
So can I buy crypto off a ledger? Because they gave me like some coins, some Bitcoins and stuff. I was just wondering how that worked. And I was trying to find the videos in .connect just in case. Because I did make the mistake in KuCoin and tried to verify my profile. And then I watched more of the video and you were like, don't verify it though. Because so I had to delete my profile and create a whole new one with a different email to be able to transfer it. But with the ledger, I didn't want to get myself into that same issue if it wasn't a safe way to transact.
So I always advise this. Anybody who's using Ledger, do not make a purchase. You have the option to do so on Ledger Live. Ledger Live is the software that comes with your actual ledger, right? So when you purchase Ledger Live and you set everything up, it's going to give you a bunch of functions on the left-hand side, and you have the option to buy. That's new, well, current. Miss Barbara was one of the first students that bought that to everybody. And I was saying, do not do it. The reason being is because, one, you don't want to create a back door where somebody has access to your ledger and the assets that's on it, right? So when you start doing functions that are internet related or hot wallet related, then that's when you lose the purity of your cold storage, right? So you never want to do that. The only thing you want to do with your ledger is literally buy off an exchange or wherever you purchase it from, or somebody is sending you something, just give them the address, your receiving address, so that you receive it directly to it and you hold it. That's it. The only other thing you should be doing is updating your ledger, making sure on Ledger Live, right, there's an update and you just click update on it, right? And you always, before you do this, always check, is there a hack going on in Ledger? Is there a new update in Ledger? Or just literally go to ledger.com and it'll tell you, hey, there's a new update, such and such is available. But on your device, once you download it, it's going to tell you at the top of the screen, it should be a bar that tells you Ledger 16.2.7.
Yeah,
whatever.
I had a firmware update.
Yeah. So it's telling you this on purpose because that's the only thing that you truly should be doing with this. Now, they're going to continue to advance because what they're trying to do is they're trying to gain market share, market value. They know if you can go to an exchange and make a purchase, you're going to do that, right? So Ledger, making this partnership with all these different coins, they want in on the money, right? So now people start thinking, oh, it's easier. Let me do this straight from Ledger, but not realizing you're compromising the security. Don't do that. Don't ever, never compromise the security. So I personally, I'm just telling you what I would do. If I was in your shoes, I would never, ever use this ledger for nothing else but just sending crypto assets to it, making sure it's updated, and that's it.
And the receiving wallet, I know my receiving address. I'm sorry, I sound so slow in this.
No,
trying to get my
good.
vernacular together. I work in threat intelligence. There's no reason why I don't know. With the receiving wallet, if someone wanted to send me money, I just can go into my Ledger Live to get the address, right?
Yep, and you can do it. So everybody who doesn't know, because again, there's new people that's on the call. So that's a great question. So on the app, you also can download Ledger Live, the app on your phone, right? When you download the app, you can pull up your address. And here's a good rule of thumb for anybody. It doesn't matter what you're using. Doesn't matter what cold storage, Decent, Ledger S, Ledger Nano X, S Plus. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're using, go in, look at the assets that you're able to put on your cold storage, right? So let's say you're using Ledger and you're trying to put USDC on it, right? So USDC, you'll go on, you'll add the coin to it. It's on there, and then just click on receiving wallet. It's going to give you the address, and then look for a memo. Some coins have memos that you must have, right? Take that information, copy it onto, like you can use your notebook. I normally keep a notebook with me for everything, right? When I do crypto things. So notebook right here. If I ever need to put something in place, I can write it down and have it readily accessible. If you are a person that's always in front of your computer, or you're using like an iPhone or something like that, put it in your notes, and just you'll have it in your notes, because nobody can hack your wallet just based on your having your address. Your receiving address is like it's public. It's when you start involving your private keys and all that other stuff, that's when people can get in there and start doing nasty stuff. So long story short, so you never have to continuously go in and keep looking for certain things. Go in, find the coins that you know you want to purchase. Go in and find your receiving address for those with the memos and things like that. Write it down, put it in your notes or whatever, and anytime that you need it. Tonight would have been a prime example. He was handling something. He's handling something for the university. So he's not with us tonight. But he was saying, yo, let's do a giveaway. So the giveaway would have been, listen, first person to drop your XRP address, drop it in the chat. And we would have sent it directly from our Skype account. And you guys would have received it. First person, third person, whatever, however we was going to do it, y'all would have got crypto that way. So I'm just telling you, these are like certain things that you guys can do. Most of the people on this call, they already do this anyway. I definitely got to run myself. Yo, Jerry, salute. Appreciate you being here. Peace. Most of the people on this call, you guys already do that, but I'm just talking to the new people. So they have a more efficient way to kind of access their certain addresses. But
and I'll ask you about the tag thing in the Discord. I'll ask you about, because something about the tags. I didn't find any that had that, but I'll ask you about that in the Discord because it's not a big deal.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
But listen, I laid it all out on the table today. I honestly was only supposed to do an hour, a .connect. I'm about to get off. I gave y'all 2 hours. I gave y'all a whole hour more than I expected. But it's because we love y'all. You see how passionate we are. But anybody who needs to gain access to some of our products, I'm about to drop everything in the chat again, just so you guys have it. The Discord, that's home for everything. So I want you guys to continue to subscribe into the Discord, so y'all all over there. That's the home. It's free. So the beginners chat is where all the beginners play at. If there's anything additional that you guys want to get into, you can ask us. You can ask anybody in the chat. We have everything for you laid out. Steve marked the VIP futures. I think it was the ebook, if I'm not mistaken. He lowered it. It's a discount code. So once you guys who do not have it, if you're interested in receiving the calls and doing futures trading with crypto, you definitely need that manual. And he marked the discount for it. So once you guys add it to the cart, it's automatically going to show you the discount. Let me give you guys the links one time. All right. T, I greatly appreciate you. Fitz, greatly appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all for being on the call. I had all intentions of doing us a service and doing a live Q&A. But what we're going to do is we're going to do that on the next .connect. The next .connect is going to be a little dense and heavy, but it still stems on to what's going on. But it's really, really important. And it kind of ties into today. So it's cool that I'm kind of leaving off like this. But that's all of the links. Anybody who's new, you really need help trying to figure out where to start. I definitely recommend the first things first is going to be you purchasing the self-guided bootcamp. It's 12 plus hours of information. Sign up for that. It also going to come with the Freshman 101 ebook and the Ultimate Guide to Security ebook. It comes with that. You get 4 days of live video, and you can learn at your own pace. It's packed with gems, packed with info. We even give you a couple spots in the process. And we tell you how to buy, sell, trade, swap, store, how to protect your assets, things to look out for in the space, all that good stuff. And then for anybody who wants to jump into the 1%, that's our lifetime membership. You're a little advanced. You've surpassed the foundational understanding, and you're ready for that lifetime membership with all the projects that's going to survive the Black Swan. That's called the 1% trilogy. And that's also the link. Click that, make your payment. Let us know. We'll ask you for proof of payment, and then we'll get you guys added because you'll get access to all the additional channels inside of the Discord. So that's the key. Y'all have everything that y'all need. Overlord, appreciate you. I told you I got you, man. Sometimes you ask me for certain things, I can't get it to you in that moment. But today I said, you know what? I'm gonna do that for you. So I did want to break that whole Tether Evergrande situation down for everybody, just so it was live and everybody kind of had vantage on it, so they understand what's going on and what's about to happen. But if that's it, I love y'all, appreciate y'all. We out. Episode 28. Gone.